not
Could
reduce
it be that a House Republican wanted to reduce the IRS's budget because they think that the IRS is a model of inefficiency and shouldn't be rewarded with more money?
Well,
Could that have been a possibility, a motivation for the way they
Senator
voted?
Kennedy, I so appreciate that question because the reality
Could that have been
that the
a
reason-
motivation for the way they voted?
and it relates very closely to what Senator
Could
King
that have
said,
been a motivation for the way they
reason
voted?
that you've seen an inefficient
Could that have
IRS.
been a motivation
If you allow
for the
the
way
witness
they
to
voted?
answer, you might get your answer, Senator
It
Kennedy.
frankly couldn't have been.
It
because
could or couldn't?
It could not have been.
How do you know you didn't talk to him?
Because
Hey
the
everyone,
reason
Audrey here, and welcome back to Congress Lens. Today, we're diving into a heated exchange from a recent Senate hearing featuring Senator John Kennedy. Let me just say right off the bat, Senator Kennedy's questioning in this clip is sharp, direct, and absolutely necessary. Professor Sarin made some bold claims about House Republicans and their stance on Israel, and Kennedy isn't letting any of it slide. He's holding witnesses accountable, calling out generalizations, and making sure the truth gets front and center. Honestly, it's refreshing to see a senator cut through political exaggeration like this. Before we get into the full breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into Congress's most important moments. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this conversation. Let's roll the clip and see what went down.
We now turn to Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all of our witnesses today.
Wait, listen.
Professor Sarin, you're a professor at Yale Law School?
I am.
Okay. And I see you've been pretty active on Twitter. I'm looking at one of your tweets from a few months ago, October 30th, 2023. I'd like to read it to you. The House Republican stance is, I kid you not, support for Israel as long as we make it easier for people to cheat on their taxes. End quote. Did you tweet that?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. How many Republican congressmen or women did you talk to before you made that statement?
I was reacting to the fact that, and we've talked about it actually
Yes,
so
ma'am,
far
but
in this.
first, if you could, how many Republican congresswomen or congressmen did you talk to?
I didn't talk to them. I actually was just reacting to the legislation that was proposed.
You
and
didn't talk to
passed.
you didn't talk to any of them
No, sir.
before you said that every single one of them supports Israel only if it is made easier for people to cheat on their taxes?
I actually don't think that every single one of them believes
But
that.
that's what you
But I
said.
do think that the legislation passed by the House reflects a statement of purpose that in order to support Israel, it's
But I'm
important
looking at
to
what you said.
allow
what your
taxpayers to
students
be able
saw.
to cheat
You
on their
said
taxes.
that every single House Republican, none of whom you talked to, would only support Israel if it was made easier for Americans to cheat on their taxes. Now, you said that,
Senator
and you didn't
Kennedy-
talk to any of them.
Senator Kennedy,
Didn't you?
I am struck by, and perhaps this is something on which we agree, that it is incredibly important to support Israel. It is also incredibly important to make sure that
Well,
taxpayers at the
I'm
top
not,
of the
we
distribution
agree on
pay their
Israel,
fair
but I just
share.
can't believe you would say this about members of Congress. It's pretty pejorative, it's vicious. Let me finish. Without talking to them. I mean, would it be possible for somebody to support a reduction to the IRS budget because they simply believe the federal government ought to have a balanced budget? Would that be a fair position?
That
Would that be a principled position?
Except that that actually doesn't work with respect to defunding
But would
the
it be a
IRS.
principled position?
It wouldn't be an accurate position because
Okay.
defunding
But you don't
the
know because you
IRS
didn't talk to anybody, did you?
Well,
You just said it.
Defunding the IRS, the CBO agrees, everyone who's testifying today agrees that that is going to add to deficits, not reduce
Could it be that a House Republican wanted to reduce the IRS's budget because they think that the IRS is a model of inefficiency and shouldn't be rewarded with more money.
Well,
Could that have been a possibility, a motivation for the way they
Senator
voted?
Kennedy, I so appreciate that question because the reality
Could that have been
that the
a
reason-
motivation for the way they voted?
and it relates very closely to what Senator
Could
Lee
that have
said.
been a motivation for the way they
reason
voted?
That you've seen an inefficient
Could that have
IRS,
been a motivation
If you
for
allow the
way they
witness to
voted?
answer, you might get your answer, Senator
it
Kennedy.
frankly couldn't have been.
It
because
could or couldn't?
It could not have been.
How do you know you didn't talk to him?
Because the reason why you've seen
You
an
just
IRS
made this
that
statement that
hasn't been able.
every Republican in the House supports Israel only if it has been made easier for people to cheat on their taxes. Could it be that maybe a House member thought that, well, the more money we spend, the more deficits we have, and the more deficits we have, the more pressure is put on interest rates, and the higher interest rates go, the more it hurts the poor. Could that have been
Senator
the position
Kennedy-
of one of the House Republicans?
Senator Kennedy,
Could it have been theoretically?
couldn't have been because
Could it
everyone
couldn't have
agrees.
been?
It frankly couldn't.
How do you know you didn't talk to him?
Well, I know that everyone agrees, including witnesses across the aisle, including CBO, including every single tax expert that has contemplated this question, that defunding the IRS makes deficits worse, not better. And so this is a deficit
I just find
increasing
it,
measure.
Professor, appalling that you would make a statement like this, a vicious statement like this, without talking to a single person about whom you made the statement. And I'm going to remind you, you can only be young once, but you can always be immature. And you ought to think about that.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Let me just say that I think that the treatment of witnesses is beginning to degrade a bit here. And I'm going to strike some commentary if it continues down this road. I think personal insults to witnesses are not appropriate, and I will not be tolerant of that in this committee.
Well, could I respond, Mr. Chairman? You're going to
Fire away. I think you just called a
You're going
Yale
to do
Law
what
School
you got to
professor
do,
immature.
but I'm going to continue to use my time. You bring witnesses as you're entitled to, and some of them are very good. Some of them have the credibility of Michael Avenatti, and I'm going to use my time when I think it's appropriate to
And I'm
test.
going to use my authority as chairman
to test
as I think
credibility,
it is appropriate
witnesses'
as well,
credibility.
in
So
order
you
to
do
keep
what you
order
got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do.
good behavior in
But
a
if that
Senate
is meant
committee.
to bully me, you're talking
No
to
attempt
the
to
wrong
bully
guy.
you. No attempt to bully you, none at all. It's to keep the witness and the committee free of bullying.
I'm entitled to test their credibility, and I think one of our witnesses just got tested.
I hope I passed, Senator. Thank you.
You did.
Okay, wow. That was something. Watching Senator John Kennedy in action here is honestly a masterclass in accountability. Let's break this down. First, Senator Kennedy zeroes in on Professor Sarin's tweet claiming that House Republicans only support Israel if it makes it easier to cheat on taxes. And here's the kicker. Sarin admits he never talked to a single Republican member before making that sweeping claim. That's huge. Senator Kennedy doesn't let him off the hook. He repeatedly calls out how unfair and inaccurate it is to make statements about people without actually asking them. What I love is how Kennedy frames the logic. He gives alternative, reasonable explanations for why a Republican might support a certain budget decision, like thinking the IRS is inefficient or wanting to reduce deficits responsibly. And Sarin just brushes them aside, insisting the only explanation is his narrative. Kennedy makes it crystal clear, assumptions without evidence are not acceptable in Congress, and that's exactly what we need to hear. And then there's the moment where the committee chairman tries to curb Kennedy, warning against personal insults. Kennedy handles it gracefully, asserting that testing a witness's credibility isn't bullying, it's accountability. That's a key point. Holding experts and witnesses accountable for their statements is exactly the kind of transparency voters deserve. Honestly, watching this, I felt a lot of respect for Senator Kennedy. He's not playing political games. He's focused on the truth, calling out exaggerations, and making sure public statements are backed by facts. That's what strong leadership looks like. If there's one takeaway from this exchange, it's simple. Facts matter, and accountability matters even more. Senator Kennedy shows us how to do both in real time. What do you think about this exchange? Was Senator Kennedy too tough, or exactly what Congress needs right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll keep bringing you the most important moments from Congress, right here on Congress Lens.